Okay.
I'm really sorry.
No, you're fine. Come on in.
These paper towels.
Right.
My nose has been like just
You're
dripping.
fine.
Usually, pardon me. All right, go ahead.
Well, Ms. Mason, I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with me. I know it's been a back and forth for the last couple of weeks, even more so last quarter. So I know testing is ramping up, so this time is very valuable. So I do appreciate it. Um, if you remember, the last time we talked, we kind of talked about a goal that you had in mind in your classroom, and it had to deal with student engagement.
Yep.
And more specifically, student engagement during the first part of the class period. And we've tried a couple of things in between there that were some strategies that we felt like it would be easy for us to implement and utilize. And we've had some discussion before about how those went. Today, I kind of want to speak to you a little bit more about the coaching cycle
Okay.
and the steps within the coaching cycle based on what you and I have done before.
Okay.
We've kind of gone in and out of the coaching cycle, and I kind of want to refine what you and I have been doing over the last 3 or 4 months. Okay. And so I've spoken even before about a checklist and how important the checklist is for me on my daily in my daily work. I use checklists to kind of identify the specific behaviors that I want to see on a particular task. And so early on, shared with you a checklist in regards to bell work. And I want to take a step back and just kind of explain to you a little bit more about the coaching cycle checklist or the coaching cycle and using the checklist as we go through it. Okay. And so if you remember the 3 steps or the 3 pieces of a coaching cycle is identify, learn, and improve. And so we spend a lot of time, and you'll see this more in a minute when I share with you a little bit of things we did. We spend a lot of time in the identify stage. And so this checklist right here are certain behaviors from the coaching standpoint that I would be doing to help support you in that goal in regards to increasing student engagement. So what we'll do here is that we're going to go through these checklist items, kind of have a little discussion about that if you don't mind.
Cool.
Okay. So in the identify stage, the coaching behavior here says the teacher gets a clear picture of current reality by watching a video of their lesson by reviewing observation data. What we did in our earlier conversations, we didn't have a video that we watched for you to identify your current reality. We actually used our particular, put this out right here. We actually used a time on task sheet.
The plus minus.
Yes, ma'am. You're exactly right. And through that, can you remember when we did some of the data here? Can you remember some of the things that we taught? I know it's a little bit further back, but can you remember some of the things that we pointed out when we used the plus minus checklist in that respect?
Well, first, once I started doing bell work, I think you saw me before I had bell work and then after I had some. And so I know that improved. That gave me a lot more plus signs at the beginning of class.
That's right.
Because you have the beginning, middle, and end. Yeah.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. And you notice right here, beforehand, we were at about 38% time on task, and we just basically we identified the beginning, middle, and end as time on task in general with students, and we just kind of got a baseline data or baseline information based on that. And so just want you to take some time to kind of review that. And again, that was a little ways, it was further back.
Yeah.
However, I think we can utilize this to kind of talk about the improvements, because we did see improvements before after that. So just take some time to look at that and tell me about some things that you noticed there.
Definitely lost a lot of them during the middle of class. I want to say this was a day we were doing kind of like a lab activity.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so then we talked about maybe walking around more. I remember our discussion after this, because we looked over this and I was like, whoa.
Right. Now, you talked about walking around a little bit more, that proximity piece and monitoring engagement. How do you feel that's gone moving forward?
I think along with like just kind of growing up with the kids, I don't know. I have a little bit more control over the classroom. I think just because of the time that I've spent with them, but it's still not where I would. It never is kind of where you want it to be. But it's getting. No, I don't know. I'd have to have you go take a look again.
Sure,
I guess,
sure, I
but-
understand, and that'd be a great opportunity for us to go back in there and kind of dig and see if see where we need to go from where we're at. Because I've been in your classroom a couple of times afterwards, and definitely seen improvement in regards to student engagement, and that I feel like that you need to pat yourself on the back because that's you feeling more comfortable in the classroom. In addition to that, that's you not even being afraid of trying new strategies. I know that you put the you put slides up on the on the smart board and your proximity pieces that you were using. Those are two strategies that you were using to try to help increase student engagement, and they've worked. I think the more and more we collaborate together and find new ways in which to bring more strategies into your basically your toolkit. I think you'll know exactly which ones to pull out on which particular kids. So just keep in mind we'll work towards that in the future. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to look back on your last couple of lessons on the scale of 1 to 10 in regards to the start of your class, we're talking about student engagement. How would you rate yourself?
Of course, it kind of depends on the hour.
Sure.
That lunch,
sure.
the fifth hour.
Would it help if we identify 1 hour? You can identify 1 hour.
Yeah, so if I'll just think about fourth hour because
Okay.
I have advisor for that. I'm usually like ready to go for
Gotcha.
fourth hour.
Yeah.
I think so on a scale from 1 to 10, how where am I at now? Okay.
Sure.
Maybe like a 7.
Okay. Sweet.
Which
So I mean, it's not a 1.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
and I
tell
want
me.
to say it was probably more like a 50% or 40%.
Gotcha.
Back when whatever.
Yes, it was. Yes, you're exactly right. I remember that baseline data. So obviously, it's not a 1.
Right.
Okay. So what are some of the things that kept it from being a 1?
Continue to make sure I have something for them to do immediately when they walk in. They need to be getting this out, or pull out your homework needs to be turned in right now, or having a bell ringer up there for them.
Definitely. Yeah.
Miss Mason?
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good, honey.
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing fine.
Good.
Sorry I didn't plug that up, Coach.
Okay. Thank you for taking care of it.
No problem. No problem. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
So, sorry, I apologize for that. I totally agree that there's some opportunities for growth.
Right.
However, you're very comfortable in regards to what you want to see in the classroom, and I think that's super duper awesome. If you were to if there was some additional things that you would like to do, or some additional things that you would like to see students doing in the class, identify a couple of them, 1 or 2 of those things that you want to see students doing in the class in the future, in regards to student engagement.
Right. Because I was thinking, man,
I
just
guess just
student
a bunch of stuff,
engagement
right?
in general it would just be great. But I'm trying to think of something more specific that you could so you can actually fix a problem.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's one. This might be a reach, but trusting them or knowing that they should be accountable for taking notes. And so sometimes I have them turn them in, but they still don't do it.
Gotcha.
I mean, there's the same kids that just won't.
Gotcha.
And so,
And forgive me, I'm just writing these
You're
down just so I
okay.
can help.
so kind of just keeping them engaged because there are times when I have to talk.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm getting better at keeping them quiet while I'm doing that, but keeping them like, okay, I need to know this, I'm not just talking to talk sort of thing,
right. I hear you on that. So what I hear you saying is that 2 things is, again, the time on task piece, keeping them engaged, but also accountability
Yeah.
in the classroom in regards to the work that they're providing. So those are 2 things that we can kind of look at in the future is the accountability pieces for the students and then the continued engagement throughout that process. So